I'm Chris Pope. This is Monday Morning Jolt. Let's get started. Sharona?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today with us is one of my good friends. Lisa, I have known her for a long time, and no matter how long I have known her, she keeps coming up with new tricks. She's this person, like, I don't know how much she knows, but she knows a lot. What do you want to talk about today, Lisa, out of many, many things that you do?
Marketing, branding, and professional web design.
Okay, but in my opinion, she is the best logo designer in town. There's nobody who can touch her when she is at her top. Because she's so creative, she comes up with the craziest ideas, and you didn't even think that you had those ideas until you talked to her.
I enjoy logo design. It's one of those things that I can get lost in and do and lose time.
But the thing is, like, not to mention your age or anything, but you have been doing this stuff for years.
Yes, for a long time.
But I don't think there's many people here in town has, like even the top people has half the experience that you have in web design, logo, and how long have you been doing this for?
I started in high school, actually. There was a friend of mine that had a rock band and needed posters and tickets and a logo and that kind of thing, so that was how I got started.
That's great.
Still not telling us her age.
And that's
Oh,
fine.
the newspaper took care of that. They had an article not too long ago about another project I'm involved in.
And
They
of
like
course,
to put your age
I
in
know
there. I don't know why.
Yeah. So what are you specializing in these days? Like, are you focusing more on the website? So I know you're doing some flash graphics and that kind of stuff.
Well, they tend to go together. A lot of times, somebody comes in and wants a website, but they don't have a logo. You know, and it's how are you going to market your company? And we have to have, I can't just put a title at the top of the website. I can, but it doesn't look as professional for them.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I end up, when they come to me for a website, the logo kind of gets thrown in the mix. So,
Oh, okay.
and the logos that I design, or the websites that I design, are managed by them, and that's one thing that makes me a little bit different, is I help them to learn how to manage their own website in the back end. And it's the way that I design them is very simple for them to do that. So the logo design, the web design, it all kind of goes together, because a lot of times the smaller companies, they don't have a logo really. They're going by their name, and brand recognition is so important
These days, yeah. And the other thing that you can do is, like, I like it because you are not only a friendly person, but you are very patient.
Yes. I try to be.
And sometimes this might not be a good idea with some people, as you know, right? And then you'll make the effort to get it. I mean, part of that comes with experience.
Yes, and I also try to get into the mindset of the person who's getting a web design or a logo. What is your company about? What are you trying to portray? Who are you trying to fit into, you know, or who are you trying to reach? Who's your target audience? You know, and I try to get into that, and I find out things that they like, you know, what colors, what style, you know, because I just did a website for somebody called Relevant Ink, and it's a graffiti background, you know, so I can do the nice square business type sites, but I can also do, you know, a graffiti type site with different styles for different people. So all my sites don't look alike, in other words. They're all very unique. So,
being in your own business, which you are, correct? How do you really view Mondays? Because in your own business, you're really 24/7.
yeah, that's right.
But do you start your work week on a Monday, or?
No, my work week goes all the week long. There is no real Monday per se, but as far as Mondays go, for me, personally, it's a fresh start, because I usually have projects that carry over onto a Monday, but it's just a fresh start for the week. It's a new beginning, because last week's over, and this is a new chance to do something new and to be a different person than I was last week.
And is there anything that you do, I know it's a start and restart, almost an end point for projects and work week and starting, but are there any rituals or anything you go through to start, to kick off your work week? Is there any difference between the Monday?
No, not really. I have my same routine where I go through and look at my to-do list and kind of plot out what's going to happen this week and keep up to date with my task list. But other than that,
so you keep when you keep your hot list or your task list, is it on a board, erase board, or is it electronic? Or
yes, it's very. I Google. Can't live without I Google. It's got my task list right there in the middle of the page, and I can check them off as I get them done. And I'm a technology geek.
So everything's electronic.
Yes, everything's electronic. That's right.
So Lisa, what can you tell some advice like to other businesses in the form when they are looking for a logo or website?
Okay.
What are some of the tips that you can give as an experienced graphic designer and a web designer? Like, what should they look for?
Okay. Well, as far as a logo goes, don't skimp on your logo. That's so important. People want to go out and have, their nephew or, the neighbor kid, design a logo for them. That's the face of your company. That's where you should put all your money and effort into, is that logo design, because, if you go to a restaurant, and this is the only way I can equate it, if you go to a restaurant and you have a hand-painted sign out front, and then right next to it is a restaurant with a beautifully designed, professional-looking sign, which place would you want to eat at? Right. You're like, well, if they did that, is the kitchen going to be that way? And it's the same thing with your company. If you have a well-designed logo, they're going to think that you're more professional. Mm-hmm. They're going to think that your service is good. There's just a whole range of things like that. But if you have a logo that is, or no logo, it's like, well, maybe they won't give me the service that I would like to see. So that logo is just very, very important.
And I would think it should reflect your personality, right?
Yes, definitely.
So,
and that's the other thing. A professional designer of logos is going to look at what your company represents. They're not going to put together a logo that says, stuffed shirt, if what you are is a tattoo parlor or a design shop or whatever. There's a big difference in feel of logos, and so that's very, very important. As far as web design goes, you want to look for somebody who, number one, is, don't ever let a web designer put the domain name registration or the site registration in their name, because if you don't get along with that person, or that person moves or doesn't have time for you or whatever, then it's a real hassle to get that switched back over to you. So make sure that you get that site put in your name. That's one thing I tell all my clients. You want it in your name. That's just very important. The other thing is, with a web designer, is the same thing as a logo. You want the right feel for your website, and you want it to look professional. Again, it's the same thing with a logo. Who are you going to buy from? A website that is poorly designed, or one that's very professionally designed. It'll make a difference in the success of your company if you have a well-designed logo and website.
Well, I don't know, I don't remember the statistics, perhaps you do, but the first thing people check when they do business is the website with you. So it is critically important. It's the portal to your world.
And ask when you have a when you're going to work with a web designer, ask for other references than what's just on their website, because, you know, it's kind of like the house painter. His house is never painted because he's so busy doing everybody else's. And you know, we all have websites that we've done that we're very proud of, but maybe we haven't had time to update our website and put them on. So ask for a list of links. I mean, any web designer ought to be able to just give you a page of links that you could go to and check out their other sites. So that's very important.
Do you have a business philosophy or an adage by which you both operate professionally and personally?
Treat everybody fairly, and I like to help people. When I'm doing a website or a logo, I'm not doing it just for business, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, but for me, I'm doing it because I want to genuinely help people. It's
Did you want the 12, 16,
giving,
or 20?
I guess, would be the big thing.
Okay. And if you could select any superpower
Java French, which is the dark roast.
that, you know, has already been stated or is unknown to us that you might want to make up, what would that be?
Oh, I think mind reading.
Mind reading. That's a good one.
So many people expect me to do it anyway. So.
It would make the press.
So
The press is much shorter.
That's right. That's right. You know, so many times somebody says, well, you know, I want this, and so you do that, and then they come up, well, you know, I really wanted to see this. I'm like, well, I can't read your mind.
Because you are in such a subjective field that the opinion can change from morning to afternoon within an hour.
That's right.
of design.
That's right.
They might change their mind. So even for them, it's hard.
Right.
So I can just imagine where you would be. So Lisa, how do people get hold of you? Your
They can
website,
go-
phone number?
Yep, my website, .co.com, which is like a dot company. That's what it started out with. I was trying to figure out a name, and it was like, well, there's a dot this and a dot that. And I was like, well, why not just a dot company? So, and then it got shortened to a .co. So, .co.com is probably the best way to find me. So,
And all your work is there and everything else?
almost all my work is there. Go back and ask me for links, and I'll send them to you.
So we would like to thank Lisa for coming and joining us today. We'd like to thank the audience. We are recording at Higher Grounds, downtown Fort Wayne. And this is Monday Morning Jolt. Use it.